How's it going, everybody? This is Aaron the Pedantic. I have kind of a lot of things I'm going to talk about today. There is one topic that I want to focus on very, very deeply in a future video, but I just don't have the time to really do as much on that as I would like to. So instead, I'm just going to talk about a bunch of other things that are all on my mind all right now. Well, I guess because today is the 27th of April, and I have been keeping up with the news. Holy crap! The Pinkertons, not only do they still exist, but they are employed by Wizards of the Coast, apparently in multiple situations. For those who don't know, there was a situation recently where a Magic the Gathering streamer uh, somehow got a hold of something that wasn't supposed to be out yet whenever he had tried to purchase something else. It sounds like, from everything that I read, that it may have been because the merchant that sold it to him just gave him the wrong one by mistake because he apparently was more of a Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh kind of guy rather than Magic the Gathering. So it may have been completely innocuous, innocent, didn't mean nothing. And Wizards of the Coast hires the Pinkertons, the people that I primarily know of because of westerns. All the westerns throughout history. Throughout my history of watching westerns, those rascals that like to go around and mess with a good cowboy's way of living, like robbing things and all that, or actually just honest work. Period. Really, the Pinkertons, not really the best kinds, but they are mercenaries. So maybe we should be making Western D&D more like it's about Pinkertons. Who knows? That's really neither here nor there. Cowboys and outlaws. That's probably more of what we'd be looking at as far as adventures go. I guess it's not entirely true. I guess you could make a good Pinkerton game. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. It is crazy. So I read the article is a Kotaku article. It came from many other sources as well, but so he got a hold of this thing. They sent the frickin' Pinkertons, and the Pinkertons are calling and threatening about if they don't comply, then they're going to call the sheriff, and they're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines and jail time and blah 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 blah. All of this because this guy happened to get something on accident and was trying to make a stream to show it off. Um, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to pretend I'm a lawyer. There are people that are probably dissecting this who are lawyers. But Wizards, this is not this is not the way to handle this kind of thing. Could you not have maybe like sent a letter or something? Just send a letter or try to get some kind of line of communication going before you send the freaking mercenaries there to somebody's house. I mean, just saying, please, think in the future, maybe handle things a little bit differently is what I would say. I'm sure that most people would agree with that. Allegedly, it's been confirmed by the subject of all this that the actual Wizards employee that they spoke with was very kind in everything. But just the sheer fact that if you send people that are off typically being a lot more aggressive than that and going from that angle, then yeah, they're gonna go in and break some legs. It's kind of like hiring the Suicide Squad to do a very gentle negotiation. It's not gonna go well. It's just not gonna go well. Don't do that to people. I mean, dang, I can't imagine that. For a moment, I was like, oh, well, I mean, all he had to do is just say, no, I'm not going to give that back to you. And there's nothing they could do about it. Right. But then I thought about it and I read the article and I was like, they had these people threatening them and saying they're going to bring the law over and all that. I can kind of see why they would just be like, okay, yeah, here you go. At first, I thought maybe it was a matter of trying to maintain a positive working relationship with Wizards of the Coast. And that's possible. That might be part of what it was going on there, but it sounds like it was a lot bigger of a deal. So, that's not cool. Not a fan of that. All right, so that's the Pinkerton thing. I figured I might as well comment about that. Obviously, I don't think they should be doing stuff like that. I would feel very bad about that situation, especially whenever it's not just you. You've got family there, and then apparently they took a pretty decent chunk of his property that he paid for. And they said that they're going to reimburse him, but like, It's just a lot of hassle whenever it just seems very unnecessary. Very unnecessary. And Dungeon Craft actually posted something on Twitter about how they also got an ethics award. So congratulations, Wizards of the Coast. Good times. Someone will have to verify that, but I trust Dungeon Craft, and I'm pretty sure I saw that it was him that said it. If not, I'm gonna feel really stupid. All right, so that's the Pinkerton thing. What else is going on? Well, my Dungeon Crawl Classics game is still going, kind of. I've had a lot of family events that came up. I wasn't able to play the last couple weeks, and then this last weekend we were all set to play, but unfortunately we didn't have enough people show up. A lot of people just had other things going on. It happens, life happens. But because of that, I am looking for more players. If anybody is interested in joining in the game, I'm probably going to be moving more toward a public game style format, such that if the first so many people to actually arrive in the game are going to be the ones to play, and if you're not one of those, then you have to wait until next time, perhaps. Just because, whenever we have a pool of several players, but we're not having enough people show up, then I have to do something in order to keep the game going. So seems to be the thing. That's just something I have noticed in general when it comes to online play, is that unless you have an established group with people that have been playing together for a while, it can be very difficult to get people to regularly attend a session. Just very often that is the case, I've noticed. But life happens, so maybe that's not really as big of an issue as I'm making it. I just would like to get people there just to be sure. But we did go through the first 75% of the Tower of the Black Pearl by Harley Stroh, and it was very cool. I was actually surprised. I was kind of concerned whenever I first started reading it and then was preparing to run it. I was concerned that it seemed too linear. Now, this is something that I have a general problem with when it comes to a lot of the Dungeon Crawl Classics adventures, is that a lot of them are written in a very linear fashion. The exceptions tend to be ones that have more wide open areas. You're still not like going off into all kinds of different expansive locations, because that's just not how they do things usually. There are probably some box sets and things like that that are different, like the Chain Coffin and Hubris, and the Hubris is kind of its own game, so that's kind of a different thing. But whenever you have those larger products, yeah, you're going to tend to have these kinds of things. But some of the other ones they're more like, you'll have like an island, you'll have something a little bit more expansive, and with those you'll have your random encounter charts and some different zones and things like that. But a lot of times whenever I've seen a lot of the dungeons when it comes to DCC, it tends to not be terribly expansive. The ones that really stand out, Frozen in Time, oh my god, so good. Well, anyway, those are the ones I really tend to like, and because of that, I was very concerned that the linear path, the pretty linear path of Tower of the Black Pearl, was going to really kill it. But at the same time, it just didn't really quite pan out that way. It may have been just the cadence that the party has. It may have been just the way that I was trying to propel things. It may have been just the way that the players were motivated from one scene to the next, and you can actually kind of say it a scene, because you really are just kind of going mostly in a straight line with a few deviations here and there. It seemed to work fine. So I was very concerned, seemingly for no reason. It was a very cool adventure so far. I'm really, really excited to see how it's going to pan out, because depending on what exactly they do, there could be a chance for some very, very significant changes to the game. Very, very significant. Holy crap. Crazy significant changes to how things transpire for the entire rest of the campaign based off of the decisions that they make. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to go. And we're going to be getting to that hopefully soon. Unfortunately, can't do it for a couple weeks because I have more family things. The end of the year is always really tough, the end of the school year, because I have kids, and the kids, they got all kinds of stuff going on. So that's just kind of what happens. Very busy, very, very, very busy. All right. So the DCC thing, if you're interested in playing, please let me know. You can contact me on the Discord server. I'll try to put a link in the description so you can get in on that. Other than that, I'm also about to have a ton of time off starting around June. And that means that even though I'm going to have a lot of things going, a lot of pies in the oven, I'm actually going to have a ton of time for gaming. At least I'm going to make a ton of time. So that means that we can look forward to potentially, I'm looking at starting another public game. I have not decided if it's going to be Swords and Wizardry or if it's going to be first edition AD&D, but it's going to be one of the two because I would like to have as many of the old school elements as possible. I had a wonderful time with my BX public game, but at the same time, I'd like to have a little bit more heft to it whenever it comes to the class variety and some of those considerations and spell varieties and etc. So I do know that I want it to be either OD&D or AD&D. I do know that. So the way that is probably going to work is going to be people that are on the Discord server. There will be a section on the Discord server in order to hop into the games. And it's going to be kind of first come, first serve. And it's going to be hectic. It's going to be crazy. Lots and lots of dungeon crawls, probably multiple times a week. I'm thinking probably during the daytime is when I'm probably going to be doing it because why not? I'll have the opportunity to do gaming during the daytime rather than the nighttime. We'll really see what's going to happen there because it's going to depend on people's work schedules and things like that. But I may be able to hit the much difficult to pin down Euro crowd. Those are often, having Betty buys by the time I am ready to be able to run for them under normal circumstances. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm wanting to squeeze in maybe 3 sessions a week of that game and then the DCC game. So run like 4 games a week. Run for probably about 3 hours per session. And so right now, what I'm mainly focusing on is just making dungeons, filling out this world, getting all of my mechanics and procedures for behind the scenes ready so that whenever we start playing, then I can be ready session after session after session after session with very little work in between. So that is what I'm working on right now. Also, I'm working on some more DCC videos. I'm really excited about that because I love DCC. And of course, I'm going to want to talk more about it if I can. All that being said, great times. I have you've still been very quiet. I realize that. But it's been a crazy, crazy work year. I just have not had very much time at all. I haven't. That is changing for a while. We'll see how things go next year. We'll see how it goes. I really appreciate everybody who stuck along for this journey. Recently hit 2,000 subs, so I feel like I should probably do a giveaway. I have a few modules that I could probably do giveaways on. So probably some Lamentations modules and maybe some. I think I got some extra. The basic fantasy ones, they're so cheap that the postage you would be able to buy it for yourself for a cheaper price. Never mind. I'm not gonna do the basic fantasy ones, but I'll be able to find some modules. I'm sure that are maybe worth doing some giveaways on. But I appreciate everybody who stuck around all this time. I love all of the times that we get to talk about the games. And, there's plenty more coming ahead. So thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take it easy.